Good morning. This is the 6 a.m. news coming to you live from our studios here in Adisawe, Kanda. The news is live on 3FM 92.7 and streaming live across our various social media platforms. Coming up this morning, the National Democratic Congress denies recruiting thugs, says it is openly training polling agents in Akwetia.
Once we are doing training of our party agents to man the polling station for us comes the September 2nd, they are doing press conference saying we are training tax. You see how unserious they are.
Also, political analyst says NPP is using Ablekuma North violence to push police ahead of the Akwetia by-election. And much later, security analyst says curfew in Saula Tunakauba is helping to stabilize security. We'll tell you more on that shortly. We have details of these and other stories. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Now to the details. We'll start off with rather some unfortunate news as two people have been confirmed dead following violent clashes during the Pupwe sprinkling ceremony in the Teshi traditional area on Tuesday. The ceremony, which began peacefully at dawn with youth jogging, singing and dancing, turned chaotic when rival groups clashed. Stones were thrown and sporadic gunfire was reported. Police intervened to restore order, but fresh disturbances broke later in the morning between factions loyal to different traditional leaders. Several people sustained gunshot wounds and were rushed to the Lekma and Family Health hospitals. 30-year-old Eddie Blessing and 27-year-old Patrick Mate Theo were pronounced dead on arrival. Another victim is in critical condition, while others are receiving treatment. The Lejikuku Municipal Security Council says calm has been restored while police investigations are underway to bring the perpetrators to justice. Authorities are appealing to all residents and traditional factions in Teshi to remain calm and cooperate with ongoing investigation. We'll follow that closely and bring updates in our subsequent bulletin. Now let's go to some political stories as the NDC insists it is openly training its polling agents in Akwetia, holding sessions in public places such as churches and classrooms, not in secrecy as the NPP claims. The party has accused the NPP of dishonesty, saying the opposition party is holding press conference to misinterpret the training of recruitment of thugs. The NDC further argues that any past disturbance, such as the incident at Ablekuma North, which caused an NPP supporter, not NDC's members. Rashid Tango Computer is the Deputy Director of Elections and Information Technology for the National Democratic Congress.
The NPP, they are not serious people. I've been saying it time and again, they are not serious. And we told them during our meeting with IGP that they should invest in training their officers to understand the nuances of electoral system that we are running in Ghana. I'm in Akwetia. We are training our party agents. We have zoned it to 4 zones, executing the training. We are in Accra doing press conference saying we are training tax. We are not training them even at hidden places. We are training them at public places, churches, and classrooms that we have. The police are all over the place. I can send you footage, videos, and pictures. Once we are doing training of our party agents to man the polling station for us comes the September 2nd, they are doing press conference saying we are training tax. You see how unserious they are.
That was the NDC's Deputy Director of Elections and IT, Rashid Tanko Computer. Meanwhile, political analyst Dr. Samuel Ifriye says the New Patriotic Party is using the Ablekuma North violence as justification to demand certain actions from the police ahead of the Akwetia by-election, which is expected in politics.
Based on Ablekuma North violence has made the MPP, to use it as a basis to demand certain kind of actions based on what happened, and you cannot begrudge the MPP for that because of what happened. And even if it was not even an intention or good intention, they will use it. And it's politics that is at work here. And technically, they will want to use any other ways to demand that certain kind of request from the police. So I believe that the police need to let the stakeholders believe that they are ready to to protect the elections, the by-elections, and that is what matters. And the MPP will take it from the different angle, trying to accuse the NDC of thuggery and whatever that they think that will give them an advantage. And it is politics, and I think the MPP is doing that as it is.
Political analyst Dr. Samuel Efriye there. Now, still with the NPP's presidential aspirant Francis Adainimo has announced he will not contest the party's presidential primary scheduled for January 31, 2026. In a press statement, he cited what described as inappropriate political timing, a top-down approach to party contest, bias of party executives towards one candidate, and what he called unhealthy monetization of internal politics. Mr. Adainimo says the demand for 4.6 million from each aspirant undermines the foundation of the party's democratic culture and places emphasis on money rather than competence and winnability. He wished all aspirants well in their campaigns while reaffirming his commitment to the New Patriotic Party and the country. Now, moving on, security analyst Richard Kumado explains that the curfew imposed on the Sawala Tuna Kalba Township and its environs in the Savannah region is a short-term measure meant to help security officers maintain control, even though it causes inconvenience for nearby communities not directly involved in the conflict. Mr. Kumado says the next step is for security agencies to strengthen community confidence and prevent perpetrators from returning to cause further violence.
Curfews are usually short-term measures, and they are imposed to ensure that security officers have a control of the area. I believe that it's in that line that the curfew has been imposed. I can also understand the difficulties that people will go through, particularly the communities which are not directly affected by this conflict. To the extent that they have become the holding area, it is good they also enjoy the curfew, as bad as it may be. What is important in all this is that the IGP's visit, increase of the numbers, they have stabilized the place, the killings have been stopped, and what they are left to do in the next action as a strategic move is to continue to build up safety and security assurances for the communities and making sure that the people who started this conflict do not return to the communities and kill many more people.
Security analyst Richard Kumado there. Now to some education story. A national conversation on strengthening ties between education and industry took center stage at the second National Roundtable for Private Sector Engagement and Partnership in Technical and Vocational Education and Training. The event brought together key stakeholders to re-examine the future of TVET.
The future of your company, your industries, and indeed the national economy depends on the quality and relevance of the skills we produce. This is not a call for charity. It is a call for strategic investment in your own competitiveness and sustainability. I'm urging you to open your doors wider than ever to internships, apprenticeship, and workplace experience learning opportunities. I am calling on you to be deeply involved in shaping our curricula so that they match the technologies, standards, and processes of your industry.
Now, to some other stories, government has presented an amount of 100,000 Ghana cedis and some relief items to the Swami market fire victims. Announcing the support package to the victims, the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amakohene, also assured the traders of government's commitment to assisting in rebuilding the market. He, however, pleaded with traders not to rush and erect structures haphazardly, as was done in the previous years.
Fire ne MC any briefing na kosona na say cars ni na beduru ha no omu wura mu no na ayeden enche ye bia bitu ye wadum present no say enko wie brain na ye car ni wura edwenu mu a nim say dwawe dada e bia mu si ye kwa na ye nwo me but emre ko nanimu a gas sem eni niema ema eja etimi so ntem e kosoro no na wasi ye ko ye baba so ebetimi a redesign the market maybe. The best of them. Obia BB or Habia no matter records of it. Obia and the BB and through some say there was space and now one. free Samanas. Mamma, my empire, a home fast, I am Chisheno, and some funny old one now. The business here will be to me and for can room your boy. If the president and then your mama 100,000.
That was the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amakohene. That'll be all for this morning's first half of the bulletin. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. Michael Obodu comes your way with business.
The best in the morning is on 92.7 Sunrise on 3FM.
And hello there, good morning and welcome to the business news on Sunrise. Coming up, Ghana Union of Traders Associations GUTA commends Bank of Ghana's new travel forex guidelines, saying move will end trader harassment at the ports.
As it has been happening, and then people are being extorted left, right, and center.
And financial analyst lauds government for its discipline on the treasury bill market.
And it is this same discipline that will lead investors to believe that they are managing the finances of this country well. And so it is safe to give them money at a lower rate of interest.
Plus, energy analyst warns infrastructure woes may hinder Ghana's electricity export to Nigeria.
The infrastructure support system is too weak to supply Nigeria the needed electricity within the shortest possible time. I think that some of these ideas are in the long term.
Details of these and many other stories coming up shortly. I am Michael Obodu. Please stay tuned. Thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story. And the Ghana Union of Traders Associations GUTA has welcomed the Bank of Ghana's latest directive on traveling with foreign currency, describing it as a step towards ending the harassment of traders at ports and borders. Yesterday, the central bank announced amendments to its guidelines on the import and export of foreign currency aimed at strengthening anti-money laundering measures. The Bank of Ghana has issued new travel guidelines under Ghana's foreign exchange and anti-money laundering laws. Travelers may carry up to $10,000 without declaration. Amounts above that must be declared using official forms, with outbound travelers carrying over $50,000 required to provide supporting documents. The central bank warns that undeclared or falsely declared funds may be seized, with offenders facing fines or prosecution. Currency sent by mail or cargo will also be confiscated. Speaking to 3 Business, GUTA President Joseph Obeng commended the central bank for its efforts to streamline forex regulations and protect traders.
It's going to help us a lot because in this particular instance, nobody is going to harass you that you are traveling with more than $10,000 as it has been happening, and then people are being extorted left, right, and center.
President of the Ghana Union of Traders Associations GUTA, Joseph Obeng, ending that report. Now, government has received applause for its disciplined approach to borrowing from the short-term money market, specifically through the issuance of treasury bills. A short-term money market is where financial institutions, corporations, and the government lend and borrow funds for a period of 1 year or less. In an interview with 3 Business, Chief Executive Officer of Dalex Finance, Joe Jackson, stated that government's participation in the market has been commendable. He noted that government has been taking on debt prudently by only accepting the amount of money it needs rather than over-borrowing, which has been a point of concern in the past.
If it is undersubscribed, they only take what is available and walk away and don't cause the rates to go back up again. That is admirable discipline, and they should be commended for that. And it is this same discipline that will lead people to investors to believe that they are managing the finances of this country well. And so it is safe to give them money at a lower rate of interest. So the discipline is a positive virtue and will get us onto a virtual cycle where, because of discipline, rates can come low. As rates come low, it becomes easier to maintain those the discipline, the fiscal responsibility, the commitment to reduce expenditure, the commitment to say, I will only take as much money as I need.
That was Chief Executive Officer of Daylex Finance, Joe Jackson, speaking there. Now, Ghana's plan to enter into a barter agreement with Nigeria, exchanging electricity for natural gas, faces significant hurdles due to the country's existing infrastructure challenges. According to Executive Director of the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, SEMSE, Benjamin Nsia, Ghana may find it difficult to reliably supply electricity to its West African neighbors. While government's initiative is aimed at leveraging Nigeria's abundant gas reserves to fuel Ghana's power plants, Nsia's observations raise questions about Ghana's capacity to deliver on its end of the deal.
Our ability to bring forth the necessary infrastructure to be able to push in these electricity generated locally to other countries in Nigeria. Yes, we believe we have West African power pool, but the infrastructure support system is too weak to supply Nigeria the needed electricity within the shortest possible time. I think that some of these ideas are in the long term. And in long term also means that we need to harmonize the cost of infrastructure in different countries, because this infrastructure is going to pass through various countries before it gets to Nigeria. Yes, we may learn from the West African gas pipeline system or framework in terms of costing each of these distribution systems within specific countries. But power also has its own infrastructure. So we need to develop a framework that addresses the cost of service of passing through each of these infrastructure in either Togo or Benin before we can talk about battery. So on the surface, I think that it looks very positive, but I think that in the short term, Ghana doesn't have enough power available to be able to supply to Nigeria in terms of the quantum they need.
That was the Executive Director of the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, SEMSE, Benjamin Nsia, speaking. Now, the Nuclear Regulatory Authority, NRA, is collaborating with the National Communications Authority to oversee and regulate radiation emissions from telecommunication masts across the country and the functioning of these companies. Director of Nuclear Installations at the NRA, Professor Emmanuel Ampoma Amwako, made this known on the sidelines of a training workshop in Accra for selected journalists.
The Nuclear Regulatory Authority, when established, was made to take additional responsibility for radiation. The former Radiation Protection Board previously provided that oversight. The collaboration with the National Communications Authority will allow the Nuclear Regulatory Authority, NRA, to extend its regulatory reach to the telecommunications sector, ensuring that radiation levels from mobile phone masts are within safe limits.
Currently, the NRA is working with the NCA, the National Communications Authority, to regulate the telcos, and it's work ongoing. It's NCA that has the regulatory oversight of all telcos, so it is for the various technical support organizations to provide the assistance so that they can effectively authorize the use of the telcos. So it's not really about the radiation alone, but also about the functioning of the telcos, which the NCA provides the final authorization.
The partnership is aimed at protecting public health and safety from potential radiation exposure.
Now, turn our attention to the currency and the commodities market and bring you updates.
On the interbank foreign exchange market, the dollar is selling at 11 cedis, 5 pesos. It gained 9 pesos. The British pound is selling at 14 cedis, 89 pesos. It gained 12 pesos. The euro is selling at 12 cedis, 83 pesos. It's also gained 5 pesos. However, be guided that these figures could be higher at a forex bureau near you. On the global commodities market, Brent crude is trading at $67.78 per barrel. Gold is trading at $3,396 per ounce, up by $2. Cocoa is trading at $7,847 per ton, up by $243.
And those were updates from the currency and the commodities market, bringing an end to the business news on Sunrise. For more business stories, please visit our website at 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe.